I say my farewells and start on the road home. I don't really think about anything in particular. I just slowly walk toward my apartment. Occasionally I glance up at the stars twinkling in the distant night sky, but that's about it. After a few minutes, I notice there's someone following behind me. Their footsteps sound rather hurried. People often go for jogs around here, and it's not rare to see a jogger at this time of night. I move to one edge of the sidewalk to give whoever it is a wide berth. To my surprise, however, they come to a halt right behind me. And just as I'm about to look over my shoulder to see who it is, I feel a hand tug on my sleeve. Thank God. I was wondering if she would come with him.
あれ先輩
You know, I thought she'd be more subtle about it and just stay behind. But then Sora was like, "Let's go, Haruka." So then I was like, "Oh, does that mean that she's not going to come with Kageru to his apartment?" Not true. She is indeed.
大丈夫っすか
すみません。走ってきたので。ちょっとすみません。落ち着きます。
She puts a hand on her chest and takes a few deep breaths. I notice my gaze is being drawn to her boobs again, and I hardly look away. I'm kind of amazed. I still have it in me to care about boobs after what happened today.
すみません。もう大丈夫です。
Well, it's not like you were wronged by boobs. You were wronged by two guys and the puppet of a femboy. and that girl doesn't have big tits, so, you know.
どうしました？あ、俺の部屋に忘れ物とか。
いえ、少し歩きませんか？
はい。
The two of us aimlessly wander the moonlight streets. Neither of us say anything. But I'm sure Senpai ran after me because she wants to talk to me about something. And the whole time we've been walking, she's been sneaking sidelong glances at me. Eventually we end up somewhere close to the shrine. It's not until we're on the street devoid of people that Senpai finally breaks the silence.
はい。
大丈夫ですか？
ああ、怪我とかはしてないですよ。
いえ、そういうことではなくて、とても落ち込んでいるように見えて。
ああ。
I finally understand what she's getting at. It took a second, but I got it. I see. So she's worried about me.
それで戻ってきてくれたんですか？
すみません。おせっかいだと思ったんですが。
いえ、ありがとうございます。でも多分、はい。平気だと思います。
本当ですか？私、友達いないから、想像することしかできないですけど、友達が敵になっちゃって、あっちはためらいもなかったら、きっと平気じゃいられないだろうなって。だから、私が何かできるわけでもないんですけれど、本当に平気ですか？
陽一と知り合ったの、白線に入学してからなんですよ。付き合いはたったの1年です。
はい。
だからあいつのこと深く知っているわけでもないし、あれが素のあいつだったって分かっても、ショックではありますけど、それほどでもっていうか、先輩と一緒で、俺も友達いないんですよ。全然いません。団体行動が苦手で、いつも一人でしかめっ面、友達作ろうともせず、それでいいとも思っていて。 無理に作らなくてもいいよなって一匹狼気取って。そんな俺に最初に声をかけてくれたのが余一でした。俺がめんどくさそうにしてもそっけなくしても笑顔で絡んでくるんですよね。他に仲いいやついるのに昼飯は毎回俺と一緒だったり、クラスのみんなで遊びに行く時も毎回声をかけてくるし、文化祭とかでも微妙に馴染んでない俺にちょっと面倒な仕事を回すんですよ。そのせいでなんか妙に頼られちまって、あの時だけは人気者だったな俺。余一が絡んでくれたから俺は孤立しなかった。不愛想だけど根はいいやつみたいなポジションでいられた。
親友だったんですね。
どうかな。あいつはどう思っていたのかわかんないっすけど、でもいいやつなんですよあいつ。気が利く友達思いのいいやつなんです。なのにやっぱりショックなのかもな。
There's a lump in my throat. At some point, I must have stopped walking because I suddenly find myself standing still. I unclenched the fist I didn't know I was making and looked down at my sweaty palm.
アーティファクトのせいでおかしくなってるなら目を覚ませてやるって闘志を燃やせた。付き合いが長ければ俺が正してやるって、そんな使命感も持てたかもしれない。でもあいつは誰に操られたわけでもなく自分の意志で人を殺した。正してやるなんて言えるほど俺はあいつのことを知らない。悔しいですね。すごく悔しいですよ。拳を握ってもどこに振り下ろせばいいのかわからない。そもそも振り下ろしたところで俺の力じゃあいつに届かない。今の俺じゃ届かない。悔しいですね。すごく悔しいですよ。何か余一が何か闇を抱えていたのなら俺が気づいてやりたかった。俺が
かける様。
え
Am I? I'm suddenly enveloped in a warm, soft sensation. Senpai's hugging me.
本当はもう一人の私がこうしてあげたかったそうなのですが、勇気が出なかったそうなので。
いや
I'm too taken aback to respond. Senpai's embrace is gentle. If I wanted to, I could easily shake her off. But despite how embarrassing this is, I don't feel like moving.
リーダーは結城さんだと聞いていますが、実質のリーダーはかける様ですわね。
そうですか。
はい。九条さんも空さんもかける様のことをとても信頼しているのが伝わってきます。もちろん私も、もう一人の私も。
Well, that's kind of what happens after you've fucked the shit out of both of them. They don't know that yet. They don't know that. And Kakeru doesn't know that. But I know that. Everyone who's watching this knows that.
結城さんはつかみどころがない方なのでわかりかねますが。
That elicits a weak smile out of me. On an unrelated note, Senpai smells really nice. I can feel myself finally starting to relax.
女性ばかりのチームです。殿方はかける様のみ。なかなか弱みは見せられないことでしょう。ですが、気づいていらっしゃいました？実は私、唯一の3年生、一番年上なんです。
Senpai tightens her embrace. I can feel a faint thumping noise in my ears. It's a heartbeat.
友人のいない私では気持ちはわかりますなどとはとても言えません。ですが自分に置き換えることはできます。かける様が余一さんにそうしていただいたように、かける様も私に手を差し伸べてくださいました。大げさなとおっしゃるかもしれませんが、私とそして もう一人の私にとっては大事件でした。あなた様に惹かれてしまうくらい。今のは聞き流してくださいまし。
Smiling, Senpai pats my head. It's a little embarrassing. But at the same time, it's comforting.
かける様が手を差し伸べてくださらなければ、リグベーダとして私は司令官さんたちと共に余一さんの隣にいたでしょうね。断ることもできず、ずるずると悪事に加担していたかもしれません。かける様は私たちを正しい道へと導いてくださいました。そんなかける様が悪の道に進んでしまったらと思うと胸が張り裂けそうです。考えたくもありませんわ。一人で受け止めるにはあまりにも辛い現実です。
Senpai hugs me even tighter. It's getting kind of hard to breathe. Kinda. However, it's also making me feel reassured.
どうか辛い時は甘えてくださいましね。今度は私の番。私があなた様の力になる番ですわ。他の方々もかける様が弱みを見せたとしても落胆などしないでしょう。敵は兄弟です。我々は手も足も出ませんでした。だからこそみんなで頑張りましょうね、かける様。
はい。ありがとうございます。
どういたしまして。 はい。
そろそろ恥ずかしいっすね。
まあ、せっかくいい雰囲気でしたのに。
だからこそですかね。
このまま押し倒していただいても構いませんよ。
いやいや、外ですからね。っていうか、ちょいちょい人の気配が。
そうですわね。何人も通っていますわね。
いや、大丈夫っす。もう大丈夫っす。落ち着いたっす。
残念。
Somewhat reluctantly, I extricate myself from Senpai's warm embrace.
ありがとうございました。だいぶ前向きになれました。
お役に立てたなら何よりですわ。
だよな。へこんでる場合じゃないよな。これ以上罪を重ねさせちゃいけない。強くならなくちゃ。みんなで。
ええ。しかし偉そうに申しましたが、もう一人の私の心の弱さも問題ですわね。自分にできないことは何でも私に押し付けて。そろそろ変わりますわ。あの子にも自分の言葉で話していただきませんと。
The moment she switches back, the senpai's face turns red. She starts waving her hands frantically through the air. A hodgepodge of emotions flashing across her face.
ごめんなさい。急にごめんなさい。私、ごめんなさい。
そんなに謝らなくていいですから。ありがとうございます。励ましてくれて。
いいえ、はい、すみません。なんだか雰囲気に流されたというか、勝手に盛り上がってしまったというか。
じゃあ、流されついでに、俺もいいですか？
はい。
俺たち、友達って言えるほど、お互いのこと知らないですけど、でも、仲間です。大事な。一緒に強くなりましょう。次こそあいつらを倒して、止めましょう。人が石になるなんてふざけた事件、俺たちで終わらせましょう。
Smiling, Senpai nods. It's then that she notices I'm holding my hand out to her. For a second, she looks at it blankly, but then she realizes the meaning behind the gesture. She reaches out to shake my hand, then suddenly draws back. After vigorously wiping her hand down on her skirt, she finally grabs mine. I give her hand a firm squeeze, and she smiles bashfully at me.
改めて、これからよろしくお願いします。
はい、お願いします。私、頑張ります。
Senpai shakes my hand up and down, then suddenly realizes she's still holding on to mine.
すみません。興奮しました。
いえ、先輩、意外と感情表現がストレートなんで、なんか安心します。
すみません。恥ずかしい。本当、恥ずかしい。
俺もいつも言い方悪くてすみません。それじゃああまり遅くなる前に、駅に。
新見かけるさん。そして、高坂遥さん。ですね。
No. Who would have guessed that this would have happened outside of the shrine?
Huh?
Confused, the two of us turned toward the direction of the voice. Who would have guessed that the person living at the shrine would see them at the shrine, would see them outside the shrine? A woman is standing a short distance away where the street lamps illumination doesn't reach. As she makes her way toward us, her silhouette gradually becomes more distinct. To my surprise, the owner of the voice is someone I recognize.
Sensei?
Well, that's weird. She looks different from normal. Her usual languid demeanor is gone, replaced by something much more disciplined. Also, what was with that question? She knows what our names are, and she never refers to me by my full name. I step protectively in front of Senpai, who looks frightened by the drastic change in our teacher. She takes a few more steps toward us. It's only when she steps into the light that we notice. Our eyes go wide.
お二人に。
Man, of course she's got a fucking... I made the joke in episode 1. Episode 1, as in not the first episode of the series, but like, you know, the game. There's a stigma on her forehead.
お話があります。
Well, shit. Oh. Right. I forgot that we haven't seen the opening yet. Once again. Well, no. See, here's the thing, right? The problem is that when it comes to the opening and the ending, I already boost the volume, but then if I try to boost the volume more specifically for the opening, you can't hear my voice. But at the same time, right? Why do you need to hear my voice? Oh my. Of course Satsuki's gonna play a more prominent role. We already figured out Yoichi is the Evil Eyes user. The next question would be, where do we go from here? And then, of course, the answer is, Yoichi isn't the only one that you knew beforehand that is also an evil eye user. Is also an artifact user, also a user. Fucking Christ, man. Hang on a minute. Hang on. Bro, you cannot just show a CG that's exclusive to the 18 plus version in the opening, man. Day 430. I get that. Listen, they put so much effort into the all ages version to make it look like it's not actually that's not just getting rid of everything from the 18 plus version, right? They're not just replacing stuff in the all ages version with nothing, right? They're changing the dialogue Slightly. They're slightly changing the dialogue so that it's less raunchy. Right? So then, why didn't they do the same for the fucking opening? Alright, yeah, okay, whatever. Another sleepless night passes. I was tired as hell last night, but no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't fall asleep. I lazed around on my bed until 8, but in the end, I gave up and decided to start my day. I've washed my face and brushed my teeth, but I still don't feel any better. There's a deep-set exhaustion that's sunk into my bones. Also, my stomach still hurts like hell. I pull up my shirt in front of the mirror to check on it. The bruising is gone, but it's still a little red. I shouldn't be surprised that Satsuki actually is an artifact user, considering that the whole fucking reason why all of this went down is because of the relic outside of the shrine she lives at. So, you know, of course she would also have an artifact. It's just, she was the last one to reveal it. And it makes sense because there's no reason for her to. There still isn't a reason for her to. Unless, like, now there's a reason because of Yuichi. Right? Yeah. Frowning, I pull my shirt back down. Discovering Yuichi's true identity was a pretty big shock, but to my surprise, I'm also hung up over the fact that I was done for the count after one hit, especially since that made me look lame in front of a bunch of girls. Sighing, I grab a jelly drink out of the fridge and head back to the living room. My phone's blinking. I reach out and check my messages. There's a text from Sora saying, "What do you want to do today?" And judging by the number of red message notifications next to it, everyone else is already awake. Maybe they like me and couldn't fall asleep last night. And Kujo suggests meeting up in the afternoon. And Kosaka and Yuki voice their agreement. Oh. And just as I'm about to say I'm fine with that too, a special rift appears above my table. Oh? Sophie's sudden outburst takes me by surprise. Seeing me gasp, Sophie gives me an exasperated look.
何よ、寝ぼけてる？
ああ、いや、おはよ
おはよう。今日も集まるつもり？
そういう流れにはなってるけど。
しっかりと休んだ方がいいわよ。
けど、
気持ちはわかるけれど、魂へのダメージは見た目でわからない分厄介なのよ。回復しているつもりでも、そうじゃなかったりする。どうせ、まだ疲れが残っているんでしょ？
まあ、少し。
学校は？
ああ、休み。今日明日は。
だったら、2日間ゆっくり休んでリフレッシュしなさい。どうせ集まったところで、そんな陰気な顔していちゃ、何も進展しないわよ。
かもな。
話し合うのは、気持ちが前向きになってから。いい？
わかったよ。
よろしい。じゃあね。
Satisfied, Sophie vanishes. For a moment I hesitate, but in the end I decide to do as Sophie says. Sophie said we should all rest today. The red message checkmark pops up almost instantly and everyone agrees to postpone the meeting. The fact that they were all willing to drop the idea so quickly means they're probably as exhausted as I am. Even so.
休むにしても。
I grab my phone and plop back down onto my bed. How can I rest in a situation like this? My classmate's a murderer. And when we tried to stop him, we got our asses handed to us. Plus, my phone buzzes, the tone telling me it's a direct message and not a text in the group chat. It's from Senpai. Do you want to talk about what happened yesterday? yesterday. We had a completely unexpected encounter.
どうぞこちらへ。
Ignoring our confusion, Ms. Naruse strides into the shrine.
成瀬先生ですよね。
そのはずですけど。
先生もユーザーだったって。
いえ、知りませんでした。
ですよね。いつもアンニュイな雰囲気ですけど、なんだか。
とりあえず行ってみましょうか。
はい。
We chase after Ms. Naruse. After making sure we're following behind her, she turns back around and heads deeper into the shrine. But like, why has she activated her stigma? Why has she activated her stigma? She comes to a stop in a dark corner of the grounds. Her faintly glowing stigma is the only thing illuminating the area. Senpai and I are both wearing tense expressions on our faces. This is just too weird.
突然のことで驚いたことでしょう。
She smiles gently at us. We're standing close enough that we can just barely make out each other's expressions.
もっと落ち着ける場所でお話しするべきなのでしょうが、彼女の家族の前でできる話でもありませんので、ご容赦ください。
When she says her, she points at her own chest. I knew it.
先生の姿をした現体。
いいえ、体は成瀬さつきさんご本人ですよ。私みたいにアーティファクトの力で人格を？それも少々違いますね。私はこの体をお借りしているに過ぎません。
借りる？
申し遅れました。私は。
Oh. Okay. Yeah, no, I get it.
イーリスと申します。
Yeah, right, of course it's fucking Iris. Why wouldn't Satsuki be Iris through the artifact?
イーリスさん？メビウスの？
白光川の伝承ご存知ですか？
はい。アニメで興味を持って調べたりしたので、ある程度は。
1000年前白光川を襲った最悪、それを鎮めたのがイーリスです。つまりこの白田つくも神社に祀られている
神様？
Senpai shrinks back in awe. Honestly, I'm pretty shaken too. Iris. According to the records I borrowed from Ms. Naruse a while back, she's a god. Wait. 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 Huh? I thought they borrowed the records after they met Ghost. As in, I'm saying that because that would mean that they never got the opportunity to look at the records in episode 3. My timeline's all fucked up. Is this really the same Iris? She was supposed to have lived 1,000 years ago. If it actually is the Iris of legend, then is she here to bring the situation under control just like she did in the past? Is that why she approached us? Also, why is she using Ms. Naruse's body? I don't know, something. Iris is a descendant of Satsuki, maybe. I don't get what's going on here. What's going on at all? Maybe Satsuki was an artifact user before everyone else was an artifact user. Who knows? While we were still speechless, Ms. Naruse, or rather Iris, gives us a kind smile and begins talking.
順を追って説明させていただきたいところですが、長々と立ち話に付き合わせるのは忍びないですし、何より信用などできないでしょう。ですから、今はたった一つだけソフィーティアと名乗る女性にご注意を。
Now I'm even more confused. Unfortunately, it seems there's more to Iris's warning.
彼女の目的はアーティファクトの回収です。そのためにあなた方と協力している。 そうですね。
あ、はい、そうです。
彼女の協力者はあなた方だけですか？
いや、他にも3人います。
失礼。正確にお伺いします。
3 others? Oh, right, yeah. Miyako, Sora, and Noah. I don't know why I was only thinking 2.
彼女の協力者はあなたとその仲間の方々だけですか？
I finally understand what Iris is getting at. Until now, the thought never even crossed my mind that Sophie might be working with other people as well.
彼女は手段を選びません。そういう女性です。アーティファクトを効率よく回収するために様々な策を講じていることでしょう。その一つがあなた方。そして
Iris trails off. It's obvious what she's implying. A lot of things I'd been thinking were strange suddenly. That I had been thinking was strange suddenly makes sense now. Iris smiles brightly, satisfied that she got her message across.
今日はここまでといたします。どうか私のことはお仲間にはご内密に。
あ、どうして？
こちらにもいろいろと都合が。またお話ししましょう。かけるさん、はるかさん。
いや、
ではさようなら。どうか判断を誤らぬよう。
Iris walks off before we can get a word in edgewise. All we can do is watch blankly as she heads inside Ms. Narase's house.
神様まで登場するなんてなんだか大変なことに。
そうですね。余計にややこしくなってきました。
ですよね。
送ります。駅まで。
駅、はい、ありがとうございます。
No, just be like, oh, it's too late it's too late to go to the train station now, Haruka. Why don't you just stay with me? Never mind.
行きましょう。
はい。
We exit the shrine and start walking to the station. Our thoughts are such a mess that neither of us know what to say, so we make the trip in silence. When we're almost there, Senpai quietly mutters,
他の協力者ってリグベーダの人たちのことですよね。
ですね。多分。
or rather, Yoichi specifically. There's something that's been on my mind. Back at the park, when Sophie transformed back to her usual stuffed animal form, Yoichi didn't look too surprised. He just laughed it off, saying he couldn't believe he fell for such a stupid trap. The fact that he used the word trap is significant too. That means Yoichi knew the only users could be only users could see Sophie. And realized that I'd used that property to check whether or not he was a user. Most importantly, though, Yoichi was aware of the term we'd been using for him, the Evil Eyes user. And that was an internal nickname that neither I nor anyone else had said in front of Yoichi before. But somehow he knew it. The only logical explanation is that he's in contact with someone from the other world just like we are. But then I wondered why he seemed to know so much about us. I'd figured someone must have been providing him our info. If he really does have a connection to Sophie, that would go a long way towards explaining Yuichi's reactions. It's a plausible theory, at least. It would account for why he wasn't startled when he saw Sophie, and why he knew so much about us. But if Sophie is working with him, that raises new questions. What exactly is Sophie after? Assuming she's telling the truth, I haven't discovered that Yoichi's the Evil Eyes user in any other branch. With her artifact, she should now be aware of that fact in every branch. Her goal is to collect all the artifacts that spilled into this world. It's possible that she's tolerating Yoichi's murders, or at least his murders of other users, to make that goal easier for her. Then once he's done enough, she'll have us defeat him and collect his evil eye as well. After that, we'll voluntarily give our artifacts over to her, so she doesn't need to worry about us. For the sake of argument, let's assume that's what her plan is. But in that case, there's a number of things that don't make sense. Firstly, if Sophie knew Yoichi was the Evil Eye's user from the start, why didn't she lead us to him right away? Was it because she knew we couldn't beat him as we are, and was waiting for us to grow stronger? No, that can't be it. Sophie isn't trying to help us hone our abilities. She didn't even tell us how to make familiars, which would have been an easy way to boost our strength. Besides, if she was actively trying to prevent us from discovering Yoichi's identity too soon, she would have come up with an excuse for why she couldn't go along with my plan to expose him. There's too much we don't know. What is Sophie's really after? Likewise, what's Iris's goal here? If she's the god who resolved the crisis 1,000 years ago, why is she dropping us cryptic hints instead of taking action herself? Senpai glances at me, likely worried by my extended smile. Silence. I want to say something to dispel the dark mood, but nothing comes to mind. In the end, we stay silent all the way to the station.
それじゃあ、今日はありがとうございました。
はい。イーリスさんのこと、
はい。
信用してもいいんでしょうか？ご注意をなんて言われましたけど、ソフィーさんのこと悪い人には思えなくて。
Senpai's right. Sophie's been nothing but cooperative so far. Despite all her grumbling, she's listened to all of my requests so far. If we're willing to take her at her word, then the reason she didn't teach us how to make familiars is also because she's concerned about our well-being. That said, it's true she's hiding a lot of things from us. There's more than a few important things she's unwilling to talk about. Then again, is Iris any different? I'm grateful for the warning, but it's pretty fishy how she's dropping these vague hints to try to win us over to her side without saying anything concrete. Hell, there's no guarantee she's the real Iris even. Also, why does she want us to keep her existence a secret from the others? All her actions reek of suspicion. We don't even know enough to know who to trust. We don't know enough to know who to trust.
今は何とも言えないですね。多少なりとも付き合いがある分、ソフィー寄りではありますが。
ですよね。言われた通り秘密に
話したいところですが、どういう結果を招くかわかりませんからね。慎重に行動したいですね。
わかりました。じゃあしばらくはみんなには。
そうですね。はい。もう少し状況がはっきりするまでは黙っていましょう。
はい。少し後ろめたいですけど、でも私と新見さんの2人だけの秘密なんてなんだかドキドキ。
急にどうしました？
いえ、今の言わなくてよかったというか、不謹慎というか、すみません。私思いつきで話しちゃって。
Blushing, Senpai flares her arms wildly. Frankly, I'm fine with her having no filter. It's the moments when she suddenly cuts herself off that surprise me more. She's so spontaneous that I'm never bored when I'm around her, Watching her emotions switch from one extreme to the other at the drop of a hat is pretty entertaining. Yet, I feel a little better now that she's lightened the mood.
今日は本当にありがとうございました。二人で調べてみましょう。イーリスのこと。
はい。二人で。
Senpai nods, beaming happily.
じゃあ、今度こそ、本当に帰ります。はい。おやすみなさい。
おやすみなさい。
She bows and I nod my head back at her. We do our usual exchange of nods and bows, then Senpai heads inside the station. First Yoichi, then Iris, and now beware of the woman named Sophitia. I can't get those words out of my head. It's not as though I trust Iris, but it's also true that Sophie and I haven't exactly built up a relationship of trust. I need to speak with Ms. Narase, or rather, Iris again. I text Senpai telling her I'm down to talk. We make plans to meet at the train station around noon, and I put my phone down next to my pillow. I may as well try and sleep until then. It probably won't do me any good, but my head's too foggy to think straight right now. Even if I can't fall asleep, I can at least close my eyes for a bit. Just for a second. 3 hours later. Yawning, I head to our meeting point. Taking a short nap was a mistake. Now I feel even more tired than before. Maybe I'll be able to focus after I eat something. I stifle a second yawn when I spot Senpai. She sees me as well and flashes me a smile.
すみません。お待たせしました。
いいえ、私が早く来すぎただけですわ。
あれ
She's in her other personality.
さあ、行きましょうか。
はい。先生のところですよね。
あら、私そのようなこと申しました？
え？
ソフィーさんは休めとおっしゃったのでしょ？
まあ、はいですね。
では、しっかりと休みませんと。
でも昨日のことって。
もちろん、そちらも大事ですが。
She grabs my arm and pulls it close.
今は。
はい。
温泉です。
はい。
この近くに温泉があるのはご存知でして？
いえ。
今からそちらへ。
はい。いや、なんで？
内身にも効くそうですよ。
She gently caresses my stomach. Oh, I see now. Soaking in a hot spring doesn't sound too bad, honestly. Actually, wait, what?
なんか急っすね。
先ほど思いついたばかりですから。
いつもの先輩じゃなくて今の先輩の思いつき？
いいえ、思いついたのはあの子ですよ。とにかく。
This time Senpai caresses my chest.
休息ですわ、かける様。今日だけは全てを忘れて楽しみましょう。ね。
はい。わかりました。
では。
Senpai tugs on my arm, leading me into the station.
タオルとかって？
大丈夫ですわ。レンタルできますから。浴衣も貸してもらえるそうですの。私、楽しみで。
Senpai smiles cheerfully. I noticed this yesterday, but she really enjoys looking after me, huh? I feel a bit bad about burdening her, but I guess for now I'll lean on her like she asked. I'm sure it'll be fine, and won't lead into anything raunchy. At least not in the all ages version. We ride the train in the opposite direction from Senpai and my parents' houses for a dozen minutes or so. We get off 3 stops away. From there, our destination is within walking distance. Within a few minutes, I can see the hot spring in the distance.
こんなのあったんですね。知らなかった。
確か、できたのは2年前だったでしょうか。 ずっと来たかったのですが、なかなか機会がなくて。ささ、かける様。
Senpai excitedly tugs on my arm, leading me inside. We pay for the day and pick up our waistbands and locker keys.
では
Wristbands.
かける様、また後ほど。
はい。
After picking out our rental yukatas, we head to our respective changing rooms. I find my assigned locker and put my things away. As I'm undressing, I suddenly realize something. I'm at a hot spring with Senpai. This is totally a date, isn't it? I mean, technically. Doing my best to temper my rising expectations, I put on my yukata and leave the changing room. While I'm waiting for Senpai to come out, I absently stare at an advertisement pasted on the wall. Apparently, there are live comedy shows in the main hall here every Saturday. There's also a section of the building dedicated to festival minigames, so there is more of a full-blown amusement park than just the hot springs.
お待たせいたしました。
あ、はい。
では、早速お湯に浸かりましょうか。
はい。すね。はい、あっちかな。
Don't be mixed.
いえ、混浴できるのはあちらですわね。
Okay, so it isn't exclusively mixed. There's a mixed section, because of course there is. I was gonna make the joke that that the entire hot springs was part of Haruka's fantasy, but yeah.
ああ、なるほど。混浴。
気持ちいいですわね。
Right. This is probably as raunchy as you could get in the all ages version. Well, you can get more raunchy, obviously, but I mean, like, this is as raunchy as the writers will get. The artists, well, one of the people that made the all ages version.
ですね。
Senpai and I are sitting side by side, soaking in one of the pools, but only up to our ankles. The rest of our bodies are completely dry and clothed. When I heard there was a mixed bath pool, I got excited, but I should have figured it was something like this. It's just a foot bath. Yeah, of course it is. There's no way there'd be a full-on nude mixed bath in a family-friendly facility like this one. Yeah, in a family-friendly game like this one.
何を期待されていました？
Senpai chuckles as she looks at my expression.
何のことです？
Listen, it's a weird concept. Because here's the thing. Obviously, they put the yukatas on for the yukatas were for the actual baths. So like, why did they put them on just for the foot bath, right? I try to play it cool, but the disappointment in my voice makes it obvious what I was hoping for. However, I still get to see Senpai in a yukata. The top's open enough that I can see her cleavage, and she's pulled up the bottom of her thighs. Pulled up the bottom so her thighs are visible as well. On second thought, isn't your yukata a bit too loose, Senpai? Well, you won't see me complain about it. I'm openly ugly in her at this point, so there's no way Senpai hasn't caught on to what I'm thinking. But she doesn't seem to mind. In fact, she's scooting closer to me as if she's trying to show off her boobs. She's so bold, I'm actually feeling awkward about staring now.
かける様、
はい。
すべてを忘れてなどと申しましたが、なかなかそういうわけにはいかないでしょう。
Sorry, but I totally managed to forget. The only thing on my mind was your boobs.
ですから、先に済ませてしまいましょう。大事なお話を。
Senpai's voice drops an octave, and I banish the stupid thoughts about tits from my mind.
イーリスのことですね。
Senpai nods.
果たして彼女は本物の神なのか、そもそもなぜ私どもに接触したのか、今日か明日にでも確かめるべきだと、そう思っておりました。ですが
が、
果たして先生は覚えていらっしゃるのかと。
ああ、
If she does, that's fine. But if she doesn't remember what happened while Iris was hijacking her body, then... Hell, she might not even know Iris really exists. I mean, I doubt it's the same as the Haruka situation of her two personalities sharing the same memories. So, I wouldn't be surprised if Satsuki doesn't remember anything when Iris is in her body. When Iris is possessing her.
ちょっと厄介なことになりますね。
ええ、最悪何も知らない先生に全てお話ししなければいけなくなります。
それは避けたいですね。信じてくれてもくれなくても面倒なことになりそうだ。
相手は教師ですからね。危ないことをしていると私どもの家族にまで話が及んでしまい、行動を制限されることもあるかもしれません。
I mean, you say that like you literally can't use your powers to change your family's mind. I mean, I understand she can't control her powers that well, but I'm just saying, she could do it.
余市を探せなくなる。
迂闊に動けばそのような結果を招くこともなきにしもあらずですわね。
We're up against a cold-blooded killer. Honestly, part of me wants everyone else to sit back and stay safe. But I know all too well that I can't take Yoichi on alone. If we want to stop him, all of us are going to have to work as a team.
そうなるとあっちからの接触を待つのがいいのかもしれませんね。
私もそう思いました。それとどうされますか？他の皆さんには。
秘密にと言っていましたね。
ええ、その理由を明かしていただけなかったのが気になりますが。
ですね。だからこそ厄介なんですよね。
ひとまずは静観ですわね。
消極的な選択ですけど、それがいい気がします。
それがよろしいかと。大敗を喫した今だからこそ冷静でいなくては。
余一、
まだこの町に白水川にいるのでしょうか？
いますよ。そうじゃなかったら。
いえ、申し訳ありません。この話はよしましょう。とにかくイーリスさんのことはあちらからの接触を待つということでよろしいですか？
そうですね。さりげなく先生に探りを入れてみるのもありですが。
実行するとしても来週ですわね。
そうですね。学校で。
承知しました。はい、真面目な話はおしまいです。
Senpai claps her hands and grabs my arm. I can't tell if it's because she's wearing less clothing than usual or what, but her boobs feel even softer than usual. Wait, is she not wearing a bra? Does it look like she is? What do you mean? Whoa. Yeah, I said 5 woes. Man, it's kind of pathetic how she just has to press her tits against me, and my train of thought immediately goes off the rails.
そうでした。おしまいにする前にもう一つ。
はい。
ソフィーさんは休めとそうおっしゃってくださったのですよね。
ですね。
注意しろとのことですが、今のところ不利益を被るどころか非常に協力的に思います。
そうなんですよね。それについても今のところは何とも。
この場で結論を出せることではありませんか。失礼しました。今度こそおしまいといたしましょう。せっかく温泉に来たのですから、暗い話ばかりせずに楽しみませんとね。
Yep, zoom in on the tits. Senpai squeezes my arm, pressing her boobs harder against me. It's obvious this personality of Senpai's is doing this on purpose. The scary thing is, if she really wanted to, she could easily fan the flames of my lust until I lost control, and then I'd have to switch all, and then you'd have to listen, and then you'd have to play this game only in the 18+ version. Although I probably wouldn't actually lay a hand on her out in public like this. Well, like I said, if she wanted to, she could. That being said, I'm still in a tough spot. This is most definitely not the situation I want to be in.
ちょっと
はい、
離れて。
そろそろお昼ですが、お腹は空いてらっしゃいますか？
ああ、はい。
温泉から出たらお昼もこちらで取りましょう。天ぷらが美味しいそうですよ。
天ぷら。はい、いいっすね。はい。
お値段は少々割高ですが、せっかくですものね。とことんまで楽しみませんと。
いや、先輩。
はい。
ちょっと離れて。
かける様ご存知ですか？毎週お笑いライブが開催されているとか。
先輩、スルーはひどいっす。
だって照れるかける様がとっても可愛らしいんですもの。意地悪もしたくなりますわ。
いつもの先輩に交代するご予定は？
かける様といる間はこのままです。
そうっすか。
You mean as long as you're doing this, you'll be staying like that?
あら、悲しいですわ。かける様は私のことが嫌いですのね。
いや、そんなことは。
では好きですか？どうですの？
それは。
Grinning mischievously, Senpai puts a finger on my lips.
冗談ですわ。その答えはふさわしい時、そしてふさわしい場所で聞かせていただきます。まあ、どうしてもとおっしゃるのなら今でも構いませんが。
勘弁してください。
お顔が真っ赤。
She jokingly pokes my cheek. Senpai is usually so timid that this flirtatious version of her always catches me off by surprise. A pure and experienced cherry boy like me has no way of keeping up with her banter.
そろそろ温泉入ります。
そうですわね。このままだと足だけがふやけてしまいそうですし。ですが。
ああ、先にお昼。
いいえ、もうしばらくこのままで。だってあからさまに逃げようとされているんですもの。だから。
Imagine that there is barely any difference between the all ages version and the 18+ version for this CG, and then the only difference is that it zoomed out more so you could see the feet. The feet had to be censored for the all ages version.
もっといじめることにいたしました。
マジかよ。
まあひどいですわ、かける様。私のこと嫌いですのね。
いや、そんなことは。
では好きですの？
ほんと勘弁してください。
もっともっといじめたいところですが、ほどほどにしませんと本当に嫌われてしまいますわね。
そうっすね。ほどほどで、ほんとほどほどでお願いします。
かける様も先ほどから気にしていらっしゃると思うのですが。
はい。
実は私。
はい。
下着つけていませんの。
I wouldn't be surprised if that was true.
はい。何笑ってるんすか。そういう冗談やめてくださいって。
あら、冗談に聞こえました？
いや、ほんと先輩、ほんと勘弁してください。ほんと
I hope not.
堂々といなしてくださればすぐにやめますのに。
無理っす。ほんと無理っす。これが精一杯っす。
あらあら。では怒られないうちにやめるといたしましょ
う。助かった。
続きは温泉を出た後に。
先輩